Among stories of survival, few are as harrowing and transformative as the one of Lisa McVey. At just 17 years old, Lisa was living a life marked by abuse, despair, and an impending plan to take her own life. However, an unexpected turn of events catapulted her into a chilling ordeal that would change her life forever. Abducted by Bobby Joe Long, a man who later confessed to taking multiple lives, Lisa found herself fighting not just for her life, but also for the lives of other potential victims. Using her remarkable presence of mind and a unique blend of courage and resilience, she turned her grim ordeal into a powerful weapon to help bring her captor to justice. This is the story of Lisa McVey, a survivor turned protector who redefined her destiny in the face of unspeakable adversity. The year is 1983, and Tampa is under the thrall of a chilling mystery as an unsettling series of unsolved crimes begin to unfold. The peace of this sun-drenched Florida city is shattered as a sinister figure emerges from the shadows, setting in motion a chain of events that would leave the community shaken and the local law enforcement grappling for answers. Hillsborough County has typically been a peaceful region, but as the calendar flips to 1984, the usual tranquility of the area gives way to a chilling escalation in its crime rate. Over the course of an 8-month period, the news are filled with stories of deceased victims, found bound, abused, and in compromised positions. The bodies are left in odd poses and unusual locations, giving rise to the thought of a serial perpetrator with a disturbing modus operandi. The victims fall like clockwork, roughly one every 2 weeks, striking fear into the heart of the community. The first victim, a nude woman, is discovered in May 1984. The grisly scene is enough to alert Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office that something more sinister than the usual crimes they deal with is afoot. From this point, the city is plunged into an intensive manhunt, marked by the combined efforts of the Hillsborough County Police, the Tampa Police Department, and the FBI, among others. They find themselves tracking a man that evades capture. He leaves behind at least 8 victims across 3 counties in the Tampa Bay area: Hillsborough, Pasco, and Pinellas. Each body is cruelly discarded near rural roadsides and dragged into the seclusion of the woods, and is discovered in a state of advanced decomposition. The killer methodically allows time to erase the immediate signs of his heinous acts. As the law enforcement agencies delve deeper into the case, the sense of urgency grows. Do you have a passion for sharing captivating stories? Have you ever considered launching your own podcast or channel to bring content to life? Or maybe you are already an established content creator looking to increase your efficiency. If so, today's sponsor is a game changer for both current and aspiring content creators like you. Meet Auvi, the ultimate voiceover cleanup solution tailored for content creators. Auvi revolutionizes your content creation process, making it seamless and efficient. All you need to do is upload your raw audio file to Auvi's platform, and their state-of-the-art AI technology will work its magic. Auvi effortlessly removes pauses, duplicate words, and other imperfections, delivering perfect audio every time. And the best part is that it's free to try. I have personally used Auvi and can confirm that it is a game changer. Making videos has never been easier. With Auvi, you can focus on what truly matters: researching, scripting, and narrating the enthralling stories that keep your audience on the edge of their seats. Let Auvi handle the technical side of things so you can unleash your creativity. Visit auvi.ai to learn more and experience the magic of flawless audio. Link in the description below. Now let's dive back into the video. Lisa McVey is a 17-year-old girl and is cycling home from a grueling double shift at the local Krispy Kreme donut shop in Tampa. Lisa's life is far from easy. She lives with her grandmother and her grandmother's boyfriend, a man who has been subjecting her to abuse for the last 3 years. Feeling trapped and with no place to escape, Lisa finds herself contemplating ending it all. She's on the brink of despair, even penning a note detailing her intentions. Yet as she embarks on a routine bike ride home from her job, an unexpected turn of events unfolds, changing the course of her life forever. The air is thick with the late-night humidity that often blankets Florida, the only sound that of her bike tires crunching against the gravel. Her body aches with exhaustion, but she pushes on, guided by the dimly lit church she passes. Suddenly, a force yanks her off her bike from behind. An icy grip of terror seizes her heart. She screams, her voice piercing the still night air, but the threat of a weapon pressed against her temple silences her. This isn't the first time that Lisa has been threatened this way. She has been enduring abuse from her grandmother's boyfriend for 3 years, a man who regularly threatens her with a weapon, manipulating her with fear to maintain control. Lisa's survival instincts kick in. She promises her attacker, "I'll do whatever you want," her voice trembling with a strange cocktail of fear and determination. At the time, she silently recites the Lord's Prayer to herself, seeking solace and strength in the familiar words. There is a shift within her, a transformation sparked by the immediate threat to her life. In that moment, Lisa realizes that she no longer desires to end it all. She fiercely clings to life, refusing to let it be taken by anyone.
The night before my abduction, which was November 3rd, early hours in the morning, I came to terms of being done with my life. I felt disgusting. I felt betrayed. I felt like a nobody. I was so tired of living, so tired of being hurt. I didn't know a way out. Who can I tell? I had no one to trust to tell what was going on at home. I was at the moment of my life of just feeling as, I just want to be free, to where no one would ever be able to hurt me again. I got off work at 2 o'clock in the morning, pedaling my bicycle home, and I remember being happy because I knew I was going to go home and just end it all. As I'm riding my bicycle, some guy just jumped out and grabbed me from behind my neck and dragged me off my bike. And from that moment, something just clicked. Yes, I was going to go home and kill myself, but now I'm in a position, I felt like I was forced to fight for my life. It's like God was saying, not my watch. You're not going to kill yourself. This is what we're going to go through together.
The man thrusts Lisa into his car, binding her with ligatures that cut into her skin. As he attempts to gag and blindfold her, she cleverly tightens her jaw. Once the blindfold is in place, she relaxes her jaw, creating a small space between the fabric through which she can see. Even amidst the terror flooding her senses, Lisa remains extraordinarily alert. She takes in the interior of the car. White seats stand out starkly against a dark red carpet. She notices the word Magnum on the dashboard, a critical piece of information she tucks away. Her eyes roam around the confined space, searching for any other identifying marks that could later help the police. She's fully aware of the grim reality that these details may be her only hope if she's to make it out alive. Lisa had watched a lot of crime shows, allowing her to think clearly and notice all these details even in the face of danger. The car begins to move, the abductor at the wheel. She is ordered to undress, and she obeys. He demands to know her age, to which she lies and claims she's 19. As he leans back, he makes her a chilling promise. He won't take her life as long as she does what he says. He then forces her to perform degrading acts on him. Having been subjected to abuse for 3 years, she rationalizes, "What's one more time?" Yet a spark of defiance flickers. She silently vows that if she survives this, she will never allow anyone to inflict such abuse on her again. The car journey begins once more. She can tell they're heading north. The windows are rolled down, and from the intensity of the wind whipping through the car, she deduces they're on the interstate. She notices the car rattling, as if it needed an oil change. They drive for roughly 20 minutes, which feels like several agonizing hours. Eventually, the car comes to a stop near what seems to be a wooded area. She sees leaves under her blindfold. He orders her to dress. As she complies, he seizes her arm and then begins to walk. The cold metal of a doorknob meets her hand, marking the next stage of her horrifying ordeal. They enter a building, the details of which Lisa desperately tries to commit to memory. She notices the carpet, a green speckled carpet with flecks of yellow and red. They ascend a flight of stairs. She counts 19 steps in total. He makes her take a left turn, followed by a sharp right. The layout suggests to her that they must be in an apartment building. Out of the corner of her eye, she catches a glimpse of a black revolver clutched in his left hand, a hint that her captor is left-handed. Once inside, he orders her to undress. Helpless but determined, Lisa complies and is promptly placed inside a shower. The blindfold is removed. Though he commands her not to look at him, she manages to see that he has short brown hair. He bathes her, which adds another layer of humiliation. Once he's done, the blindfold is placed back on her eyes. He secures her bonds tightly around her arms and legs. Rough hands then discard her onto a waterbed. Over the course of the next 26 agonizing hours, he subjects her to unimaginable, horrifying abuse in every form conceivable.
He raped me any way you can imagine. He raped me. Very painful. Very painful. I would just go far away. I would sometimes pretend I was in a field of flowers, a happy place. I would just disconnect from the rest of the world and just become completely numb.
At some point, he asks for her name. Thinking on her feet, Lisa lies, saying that her name is Carol. Then, in a chilling request, he demands she describe her high school classmates and their bodies during gym class. Her mind races, fabricating stories in an attempt to appease this monster. She tiptoes on this thin line, careful not to trigger any explosive anger. This was a dance she was unfortunately familiar with. Her grandmother's boyfriend had the same volatile temper. The slightest perceived offense would result in a beating. Now in this horrifying predicament, she employs the same survival strategies, all the while praying for a chance at escape. He guides her into another room. Lisa's still blindfolded. She recognizes the sound of a sandwich being prepared and the pop of a soda can. The sound of a TV is suddenly interrupted. A news station announcer reports a missing 17-year-old girl. The missing girl's name is Lisa. She realizes the story is about her. The reality of her situation slams into her. She had really been kidnapped. It's not just a nightmare. Overwhelmed, she breaks and begins to cry. Her kidnapper swiftly threatens her by placing his weapon against her temple. He threatens that if she screams one more time, he'll be forced to take her life. Yet amidst the terror, there is a glimmer of hope. She clings to one particular word he had used: forced to take her life. The realization dawns on her. Maybe he doesn't want to take her life. Maybe there's a chance she could survive this. At another point, Lisa asks him, "Why are you doing this to me?" His reply is chillingly casual, stating it's to get back at a woman in general, because of a recent bad breakup. She seizes on this weakness, promising him she will be his girlfriend. This confession also strikes a chord in Lisa. She realizes that maybe she's not the first. Maybe there have been other women who have suffered at his hands, just like her. Seeing an opportunity to appeal to his humanity, if he has any left, Lisa also makes up a story. She tells him about her father, saying that he is gravely ill and that she is his sole caregiver. She pleads with him that her father needs her. She spins her words with urgency, hoping that this will make him rethink his intentions to end her life. Lisa seizes other opportunities during her captivity. When he allows her to use the bathroom, she takes the chance to leave traces of herself behind. She presses her fingerprints on every surface. She touches the sink, the mirror, the door handle, the toilet flush. She is fueled by a grim resolve. If he decided to end her life, she wants to ensure that the police would know she was there. After 26 torturous hours, at long last, he hands Lisa a shirt, one that clearly belonged to another woman, and instructs her to get dressed. His next question catches her off guard. He asks her where she lives, saying that he plans to take her home. Instead of providing relief, this question only fuels her fear. Surely he's actually planning to end her life. They re-enter his car and make a detour to an ATM. Lisa remains blindfolded, but she is able to see that he is dressed in white sneakers, jeans, and a white t-shirt. They then stop at a gas station, and he warns her with a chilling threat. If she attempts to scream, he will end the life of the gas station clerk and then return for her. Finally, he drives the car to the back of the building and, in a surprising turn of events, offers her an apology. "Tell your father he's the reason why I didn't take your life," his voice laced with a strange sense of remorse. Then he instructs her to wait 5 minutes before removing her blindfold. Lisa stays still, frozen in shock, until she finally gathers the courage to remove the blindfold. As she opens her eyes, she finds herself in front of a majestic oak tree. In this moment of freedom and relief, Lisa is filled with a newfound hope. She makes a silent vow to herself. She's going to start anew, and this time her life will be better.
I took my blindfold off, and the first thing I saw was this beautiful oak tree. And I fell to my knees, and I started crying. I knew right there and then my life was going to change forever. To me, it was a sign of a new branch of life.
She begins running, desperate to reach the safety of her grandmother's house. It's 4:30 a.m. The journey is a blur of fear and adrenaline, with every passing car a potential threat. Finally, she arrives at her grandmother's house, a place that should offer solace, but instead brings more pain. Her grandmother's boyfriend, far from being relieved at her return, accuses her of cheating on him. He beats her and interrogates her for 5 hours, adding more trauma to her already horrific ordeal. Neither her grandmother nor her boyfriend believe Lisa's account of what happened. Lisa's grandmother eventually contacts the Tampa police, dismissively reporting, "No need to worry about the missing girl. She's home now. She's fabricated some tale about a kidnapping." Despite her grandmother's disinterest, the police insist on conducting an investigation. This small act of protocol, of someone taking her story seriously, provides Lisa with a sliver of hope. Without that, Lisa reflects, she might have indeed decided to terminate her own life. At the police station, Lisa recounts her harrowing story to a female detective. However, her calm demeanor leads the detective to believe she may be lying. They go over the story again and again, but Lisa's account remains consistent. Frustrated, Lisa demands someone more intelligent to listen to her story. The next day, she is introduced to Sergeant Larry Pinkerton, who specializes in cases like hers. As she repeats her story, Pinkerton listens intently. Convinced of her truthfulness, he tells a fellow detective, "I believe her. Call the FBI."
I was asked by my detective to go in and talk to her, and I did talk to her. I took my wallet out of my jacket and showed her the picture of my daughter. And I told her, "This is my daughter. She's your age. There's nothing I won't do to protect her. And I'm going to protect you."
I started crying. And I described the details of how my abductor looked through my hands: small mustache, pockmarked face, small ears.
I'd never seen a victim of a violent crime like this that had such recall.
Lisa's determined to ensure her attacker faces justice. She relays every vivid detail of her terrifying ordeal to Sergeant Pinkerton. Only a few days after her traumatic experience, a news report about a local murder victim grabs her attention. She is convinced her kidnapper is responsible. Driven by a need for justice, she reaches out to Pinkerton, eager to share more vital information. Lisa recounts her harrowing encounter to the police once again. Sergeant Pinkerton suggests hypnosis might help unlock any latent memories that could be crucial for their investigation. However, when her grandmother's boyfriend refuses to give permission, it triggers Lisa to expose the years of abuse she's been suffering at his hands. This revelation leads to the immediate arrest of her grandmother's boyfriend. This is a moment of triumph for Lisa, marking a historic moment in her life, knowing that she will never be abused by this monster again. With one of her tormentors now in custody, Lisa is resolute in her quest to bring her other abuser to justice. She finds herself in a center for runaway teens and is presented with a photo lineup of potential suspects. Thanks to the brief moments she'd been able to feel her attacker's face and sneak glimpses of him through the small gap under her blindfold, she is able to successfully identify Bobby. Lisa's account proves instrumental in leading detectives straight to Bobby. Her vivid recollection of the car and her abductor's movements enable the police to trace his car. Unbeknownst to Lisa, Bobby Joe Long is a man with a horrifying track record. Before kidnapping Lisa, Bobby has taken the lives of 8 women, and he would go on to take the lives of 2 more. His crime spree began in the early 1980s, using classified ads to prey on victims. After assaulting dozens of women, his actions escalated to taking their lives in 1984. Lisa had been trapped in his home, her life hanging by a thread.
This guy, he knew what he was doing. He had me. I could have been dead. I could have been lying down in some ditch or somewhere.
Merely 12 days after Lisa's abduction, Bobby Joe Long is apprehended by the police. Regrettably, Bobby had managed to take 2 more lives before his capture. Bobby is apprehended outside a movie theater on November 16, 1984, and subsequently charged with the assault and kidnapping of Lisa McVey. Bobby signs a formal Miranda waiver, willingly consenting to questioning. Soon, Bobby confesses to kidnapping and abusing Lisa.
It was pretty easy to tell from the very minute I grabbed McVey that she wasn't like the others. And that's probably why she's still alive, walking and talking today.
After the detectives extract a confession regarding Lisa's case, their line of questioning shifts to focus on a series of unsolved crimes in the Tampa Bay area. When confronted about these attacks, Bobby responds with a reluctance to answer. As the detectives persist in their interrogation, they present Bobby with photographs of the various victims. This leads a shift in Bobby's demeanor, as he acknowledges that the situation has significantly changed since the detectives re-entered the room. He expresses a need for legal representation, yet no attorney is provided. Despite the absence of counsel, Bobby eventually succumbs to the pressure and confesses to taking the lives of 8 women in Hillsborough County and 1 woman in Pasco County. Despite Bobby's confession of taking the lives of several women, his confession is eventually thrown out on the grounds that Bobby's confession was obtained in violation of his right to counsel. Regardless, in early 1985, Bobby is sentenced to capital punishment. Fast forward to September 24, 1985, when a plea bargain deal is struck between the Hillsborough County State Attorney's Office and the Public Defender's Office of Hillsborough County. Bobby pleads guilty to 8 of the cases as well as the abduction and assault of Lisa. This results in him receiving 26 life sentences without the possibility of parole, and 7 additional life sentences with the possibility of parole after 25 years. By July 1986, the state retains the option to seek capital punishment for the case of Michelle Sims. That same month, Bobby is found guilty and is sentenced to capital punishment in Florida's electric chair. On April 23, 2019, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signs his first warrant of execution since taking office in January 2019. Despite Bobby's subsequent appeals, they are all denied. More than 3 decades after his conviction, he is executed by lethal injection on May 23, 2019. At 9:30 a.m., Bobby enjoys his final meal, which consists of roast beef, bacon, french fries, and soda. By 7 p.m., he is pronounced dead, having made no last statement. Lisa not only witnessed the execution, but sat in the front row, wearing a shirt that read, "Long overdue." She said, "I wanted to be the first person he saw." This marked the end of this grisly chapter in Lisa's life.
You witnessed the execution today. What was your reaction?
My reaction was relief. All the years I have fought and the families of the victims fought to get the death warrant signed. It's surreal. The day came. It's here. I really honestly didn't think it would ever happen.
What was going through your mind when you were watching the execution?
What was going through my mind is, when is he going to stop breathing? I mean, I hate to say that, but when is the blanket on him going to stop rising and falling on his chest? And that's what was going through my mind.
Though Bobby Joe Long is suspected of taking the lives of 10 women, he is only sentenced to capital punishment for 2 of them. His execution on May 23, 2019, marks the end of his violent legacy. Regarding Lisa, her life takes a positive turn soon after these events. Once she ages out of the runaway center for teens, she finds a home with her compassionate aunt and uncle and engages in a range of different jobs. In 2004, she makes a significant decision and enrolls in the police academy. She later becomes a member of the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, the very same department that arrested her abductor. As part of her role, she specializes in sex crimes, using her own experience to aid others in similar situations.
To empower people is to show people how to embrace life after horrific things that could happen to you. I want to be an inspiration to others.
So, what caused Bobby Long to act in such unspeakable ways? A psychological examination of this infamous criminal reveals an upbringing marked by physical and psychological trauma, which could potentially elucidate the development of his nefarious behaviors in adulthood. This is not meant to excuse Bobby's actions, but rather it is an attempt to understand his twisted mind. So let's dive deeper into the tumultuous childhood and adolescence of Bobby Long. Bobby experienced numerous physical traumas during his formative years, including several head injuries and a unique medical condition. Born on October 14, 1953 in West Virginia, Bobby was the product of a broken home. His parents divorced when he was a mere 2 years old. Raised primarily by his mother in Miami, Bobby encountered life-threatening danger early in his life, nearly drowning in a beach incident in 1957, an event he would later attribute to his mother's negligence. Subsequent head injuries occurred due to falls from a swing and a bicycle accident. One notable incident involved Bobby falling from a pony at the age of 7, resulting in weeks of nausea and dizziness. Adding to Long's physical struggles was a rare genetic condition. Born with an extra X chromosome, Bobby's body produced insufficient amounts of testosterone and excessive amounts of estrogen, causing him to develop breasts during puberty. This condition led to bullying and further psychological distress. And despite surgical intervention to remove excess tissue from his chest, Bobby reportedly grappled with gender identity confusion. Bobby's relationship with his mother, Louetta, stands out as peculiar and potentially damaging. Reports suggest they shared a bed until he was 13 years old. This close relationship with his mother may have contributed to Bobby's developing resentment towards women, as he seemed to have been uncomfortable with his mother's job at a bar and the revealing clothes she had to wear. Further, he allegedly disapproved of the men she brought home, fueling his anger toward women. Bobby seemed to have grown a sense of possession over his mother. Bobby's tumultuous childhood bled into his early adulthood, marked by another severe head injury from a motorcycle accident. After his accident, his ex-wife Cynthia reported a marked change in his behavior, with increased violence towards her and their children, and an uncontrollable sexual drive. Crime analysts later suggested this event may have triggered Bobby's transformation into a sadist. This aligns with Bobby's later confession that he derived sadistic pleasure from the abduction, abuse, and execution of his victims.
March 14th rolls around and he has his motorcycle accident, and it was just like things just started changing so much after that motorcycle accident. I mean, the nasty name calling, the chokings, the beatings, and the doctor kept saying, it's from the head injury, it'll get better. As the brain heals, it'll change. It really never got any better. It just progressively got worse. This one night, I came home from work, an argument developed and everything, and the next thing I knew, I was on the couch, I had blood pouring down my forehead, and, he was like, you need to go to the hospital, I'm so sorry, why do you push me to this point if you would just shut your smart mouth? So then the cop said, okay, I'll give you a week, and I'm gonna come by your house, and if you haven't filed for divorce, he says, then I will arrest him at that point. He says, because I'm telling you, if he's doing this kind of damage to you, he says, he's gonna kill you, and he may end up killing you and your children. My friend Rochelle, the attorney, she prepared the divorce papers, and I took him home that night, and I said, Bob, I'm filing for divorce. And we filed for my divorce on June 29th, and we were divorced July the 1st.
In short, Bobby's developmental years were marred by a series of physical traumas, an unusual and potentially damaging relationship with his mother, and a genetic condition that induced physical changes and gender confusion, all of which might have contributed to his later criminal behavior. Again, none of this is an excuse for his behavior. Lisa McVey's case is one of resilience, courage, and an unyielding will to survive. Despite her harrowing experience, she managed to use it as a catalyst for change, transforming her trauma into a mission to protect and serve others. Her detailed observations during her abduction not only led to the capture of a dangerous serial criminal, but it also propelled her into a career devoted to fighting crime and advocating for victims. Lisa's story is a powerful reminder of the human capacity for resilience and the potential for transformation in the face of adversity. Her courage and tenacity have turned her into a beacon of hope for other survivors of abuse, and she remains a testament to the power of survival and the determination of the human spirit. Today, as a police officer specializing in sex crimes, Lisa McVey continues to use her experiences to fight against the very injustices she once faced, embodying a true triumph over tragedy. What do you think caused Bobby Long to act in these horrible ways? Do you think his early years contributed to his actions? We want to give a big thank you to our Patreons: Nexus, Big Pepperoni Pizza, Chrissy R, Catherine D, Jennifer S, and Tiffany D. Feel free to join our Patreon today. Link in the description below. Thank you for watching, and join us next time when we explore the psychological maze of some of the most wicked people.